Hi, I'm June. This is a quick voiceover to let you know that the camera I had facing the artwork did not record, but I wanted to share with you video clips of stories and experiences that I know could benefit you in some way, shape, or form. So enjoy.
So this is not a typical way to do watercolor. There's so many ways where it's more like drops and it creates the colors to spread, and this particular way is a different way that I just came upon. You know, it's from, I associate with golf, but from learning it even as a kid, just by myself, I would just try so many different shots and explore. And I discovered that you have to try different things to discover what works. And that's why when I teach it, it's more direct in a sense of like explore, but I know about quick tips and certain tips that can really keep a golfer or any skill set caged into a certain way of doing something. And so that's why I know what fundamentals really carry you through and to allow you to expand. And that's why I always say proper fundamentals, because the wrong ones don't allow you to expand. And so I couldn't get to this part with art if there are certain things that you can hear, like, oh, this is the way watercolor goes, and if you do it the other way, it's not good or whatever, and if you don't explore, you won't know. And so do you see how the paper buckles? But I'm telling you, I was like, okay, there are ways where you could be afraid of it buckling and thinking you're doing it wrong. So one day, I took paper and I put as much paint and I could possibly put on paper, do everything completely wrong to see if it's really horrible when it buckles and if it's ever going to straighten out. And it does. And you'll hear you can put a book on it or something after it dries to flatten it, but a lot of times it just flattens on its own. And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do it myself. I would have just believed that it's a bad thing if it buckles, or that you have to do something dramatic, and you really don't. So right now it's buckling, and it will through this painting, as much as I'm putting paint and water and things like that. But I have no care in the world because I've experienced it personally. So those are the things, like even when I'm teaching golf, I make sure that the student experiences a good shot from what I'm teaching. If not, it's not the right information. It's like, that's why it's really important to learn through experience, and if it's information, to go through the experience. And then I say, especially painting, my goodness, I'm exploring. This I came upon by myself, so I have to make trial and errors and things like that. A lot of why I'm doing these videos and other videos isn't just to do or just to show what I'm doing. It's really a way to show that there's so many possibilities that you can have in whatever skill set. When I am teaching golf, I'm always teaching how to experience it and dare expanding, you know, like go for it. So here's a little story. This kid, well, actually this happens with kids and adults. They'll have different questions, and then I have them experience it, because that's the best way to learn and retain. So a specific example is a kid asked, you know, out of curiosity during a lesson, he's like, can you hit a golf ball with a putter? And if I were to answer yes or no, and that's it, he would have walked away with that answer, yes or no. And then he would never really know. So I said, grab your putter. And he looked at me like, really? I go, yeah, grab your putter. And he grabbed his putter and he was just kind of like a little scared, you know? It's like, really? And I go, yeah, well, hit a shot. Let's see. I knew the answer because I've done it so many times in my life. Whenever I would have that question, I would just go do it. But I noticed that a lot of people don't, so I was like, let's have you do it. And he hit a shot and he goes, oh my gosh. I know what he's gonna walk away with. He's gonna walk away with beyond, way beyond just, yes, you can hit a golf ball with a putter. He's gonna walk away, if somebody were to ever ask, or if he ever thinks about it, walk away with how it feels. What does it feel like to hit with a putter? He's gonna walk away with what it does, you know. How does the ball react? He's gonna walk away with the sound. Even if he's like, I don't remember the sound, somewhere your body's going to sort of retain that. You're going to retain so much more than you could ever imagine than just the information itself. Yeah, it's really cool. You can hit a ball, swing, do a full swing that you would hit with an iron or a driver or a fairway wood with a putter. Yeah, it's not gonna go as far, but you can definitely make contact. See the shot, feel the shot, all that good stuff. And the most important part of it all was he walked away with a sense of knowing that had confidence, that you don't even have to teach that confidence. It just came through that experience. Isn't that cool? So I didn't have to go, think positive, think that you can do it. He did it. That's all the confidence he needed. So I do these videos to show the reality of artwork, whether it's a fast-paced artwork or slow. This is the real pace. Kids are growing up to think that everything happens like that. No. And wow, I've never painted this before. And I could never do this again the way it is. That's why I love original art. the person doing this sort of painting, it'll never ever have these patterns again. It'll have something in that variation in my style, but I love it. I really like this. I did not plan it to look like this. Wow, I really like this. I love these designs. So to me, like I told you, everything turns into water at some point, and this is certainly turning into water. It looks like when I'm in the ocean looking in. Once you dive in, it gets really clear and defined. It's like more clear than you are out of the water. It's weird. It's like everything's just really vivid. Truly moving meditation. But when you're like at the top of the surface and then you're starting to look down, it starts to have that bokeh effect. And then as you dive, it gets more and more defined. I hope you enjoyed the process and also how it comes about. I know I associate with golf, but these talks need to happen because I've learned so much, helped people just enjoy learning and growing and improving, but also like making mistakes along the way and figuring things out. I treat artwork like the game of golf because when you play, you can plan it out as perfect as you can. And artists there are, like they'll plan out an image and they'll create it just perfectly, like exactly what they're looking at. I think that's awesome. I think every form of art is just like really cool. Everybody's different processes. And this one, the way I do it, I relate it to the way that golf is. There's certainly certain fundamentals I recommend because it requires the entire body to, keep yourself healthy because you could really hurt yourself. But with art, you have a little more freedom in that where, make sure your posture is good and all that so that you don't hurt yourself. But I treat it like golf where you can plan it out as perfect as you can, but you're playing in nature. And so you can have this perfect plan, but it's going to shift. There's so many things and obstacles and the wind. I mean, it can change and you're like, you could be playing with the same distance that you're used to, but then there is not only terrain, like uphill, which, you have to add a club or two, depending on the severity of the hill. It could be downhill and you have to take out a club or go down, 2 or 3 clubs. And then there's the wind factor. So there's elevation, let's say, and then there's wind with you and it can help you or against you. It can go right to left, left to right. And so like, no matter how perfect you plan it out, the weather in itself, let alone the lies on the fairways and everywhere else. So that's how I approach art is let's just go with it. And then let's see, like I couldn't have planned these designs, they came through and I'm like, that's cool, but I do practice and figure out like, how to blend colors and then what works and what doesn't for me, So I kind of know that general way. So that's where practice, whether you're practicing art, whether you're practicing golf, that's where practice can be really fun. A lot of people don't think practice is fun, but it's really fun. But I won't go into it about practice, but eventually I'll do videos about why practice is really fun because it frees you. It frees you, and it freed me to create this, and I wasn't so worried that it was going to be completely messed up. And if it did, I tell you, and I'd figure out a way to see, like, there are days you go play or hit balls or whatever and it's completely messed up, but you like sort your way through if you have the right guidance, right information, right peace of mind, not getting too frustrated, like, hey, let's figure it out. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this experience, and I hope to see you again soon. All right, take care, and I hope you enjoyed this art piece.